Okay, the day has finally come. I wanted to pick up, I had this Benchmade Bugout, which you guys have seen 1,000 times. I carried it for about, I think I carried it for 2 weeks straight just to kind of test it out and get a feel for it. But about a week into that, I realized that I like this knife a lot and I wanted a second one. And it wasn't because of the scales and what everybody seems to be concerned about, the knife falling apart. The knife has held up fine. I've shown this before, but here's a standard nickel. This is might even be a little bit more worn down because it's a buffalo nickel. But the blade stock is about the same thickness as a nickel. The tip of the knife is even finer. So I just don't know what you're going to be doing with a knife that is this short and that thin that these scales are not going to hold up for you. I don't know, but that's why they make so many different knives, and that's why we keep buying knives. So anyhow, I bought these because I thought these would look a lot classier than the blue, and I thought that this would make for a great alternative to a traditional knife when I carry during the work week. So I have another Benchmade Bugout here that I bought, like I said, about a week into owning this one. And I also bought these scales at the same time. I'll tell you a story about that in a second. But I've been wanting to open this up because the other thing I've been hearing about is Benchmade's quality control. So you can see here the sticker's still intact. This has never been out of the box. Just cutting it now. Fresh out of the baggie. And centering on this one is off a little bit. So I guess I finally have, my luck is finally, actually it's not as bad as it looks, but I guess my luck is finally run out. So it is a little bit off to this side, but it's nothing that I'd really cry too much about. You can see there, like I said, it's really not even off that much. But anyhow, I'm going to not put these scales on this knife. I'm not going to put these scales on this knife on video because that's already been done before, and I'm sure you guys don't want to see it done again. So I'll tell you a little story about these scales, and these scales are from Rogue Blade Works. I ordered these scales on December the 5th, and Etsy said that it was supposed to ship by the 19th of December. So I checked back in on the 19th, and they had not shipped. They weren't even going to ship. Actually, the gentleman, we exchanged a few emails back and forth, and I mentioned to him that, you know, your description says 3 to 10 days for just a pair of scales itself. Your website says they're in stock, which could be misleading. Maybe you might want to reconsider, you know, how things are listed and the way your wait time is listed. And he kind of not so politely responded back to me that, you know, the website requires them to be listed in stock, you know, and basically he redirected me to the wait time of 3 to 10 days, which, as I said, I ordered them on the 5th. That was already the 19th when Etsy said they were supposed to ship, and they had not shipped. So we had a little bit of a disagreement. The guy, he even went as far as to say he was going to cancel my order. I told him, you know, I've been waiting. I think that you need to go ahead and complete my order so we can complete this transaction. So never heard back from him. On the 26th, I messaged him back because he told me in our first exchange of messages that on the 19th, he said that, well, we were just working on the no handle design scales, which these are, the day before. So he said these should be shipping on the 19th or the day after. So I didn't message him back. I let things kind of go on. Then I messaged him back on the 26th, and he told me that, you know, well, actually, he didn't message me on the 26th. I think he messaged me on the 27th, but it was after I messaged him on the 26th, and he said that they had gotten behind, you know, so on and so forth. They had not shipped out, but they were working on some more, and they would get to it. So yet again, we had the situation where the first deadline wasn't met. The kind of rude exchange of comments And then he missed the deadline again that he told me. He said, okay, on the 19th, we worked on some no-handle designs on the 18th. So definitely on the 19th or on the 20th, your order should go out. He missed that deadline as well. So not the best customer service, doesn't live up to their deadlines. Can't really give them high marks on their customer service. In the end, they did end up shipping. They ended up shipping, I don't remember the exact date, but that also didn't exactly hold true, because he told me they were going to ship on one day and they didn't go out for like another 2 days. But that, at that point, I figured they had to be coming soon. I just shut my mouth and waited it out. So they ended up coming in the mail. And when I checked the note in the notes section of my order, it said something to the effect of, we're a small company. Please forgive us for the extended wait time, so on and so forth. My only concern, because I know I'm going to have somebody down in the comments saying, wow, first world problems, blah, 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 blah. My thing is, if you put on your website that there's a 3 to 10 day wait for these scales, I think that you should go ahead and just honor that. If you can't live up to the 3 to 10 day deadline, then I think you should just extend the deadline. And if you guys think that I'm nitpicking, go back and read some of the reviews. The stars are 4 and 5 stars, but if you look at least 4 or 5 of the reviews, the wait time is a month. If you talk to some of the other people that have ordered these that haven't left a review, the wait time is a month. So when you order these, expect to wait a month. Why the website doesn't just reflect that, I don't know. That's my gripe. But enough of that. I like to share the whole story. As expected, you can see the scales are impeccably machined, just outstanding work. I can't find a single flaw with the scales themselves. Just top craftsmanship. I think that excellent craftsmanship, but like I said, I don't know if the business model is necessarily working for them. So anyway, I'm going to cut here and I'm going to go ahead and take this guy apart, put these scales on, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the knife finished. Okay, several hours have passed and I finally have the new scales on my other bug out. And I'm sure the first thing that's jumping out to you is this scale here. So yes, I had to slot this screw here, which ironically happens to be almost at the same exact angle. I had to slot this screw here, which meant the scale got a little bit damaged, but it's no worse for wear. It's just a little bit ugly. Just moving too fast. For whatever reason, there is Loctite on these little T6 screws. So I've never had an issue with this before. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the honest truth. I've never had an issue with it before. So when it was a little tight, I just gave it some more torque. It slipped a few times. Before you knew it, the screw was stripped out. So I ended up going to the store to look for another set of Torx bits, but didn't find anything else of higher quality. So ended up just having to suck it up. But the scales themselves are top-notch, first class quality. Like I said, the scales are great. They're wonderful. It's just that whole customer service thing that kind of is a little bit off-putting. But as we know in the knife world, a lot of times especially a business that's growing, their product is usually excellent, but then the interaction and customer service can sometimes be a little bit hit or miss. I know that's a big thing in the custom knife world. A lot of times you'll hear people talk about the knives and how great they are, but when you go to try to contact the maker, or you wait for the maker to contact you, it's just the business side of the knife world can get a little bit sketchy. So, I guess sometimes it is what it is. The knife was a little bit off-centered when I took it out the box, as you guys saw. It's still a little bit off-centered. I think that's partially due to the blade grind. I know that some people have told me about the QC, so I guess I finally run into one of the blades that has some QC issues. But this is going to be a work knife. As you can tell, there's no pocket clip on it. It's nice and slim. It's just going to slip right into my pocket. I just really enjoy this knife. I don't know if I necessarily like it more with the carbon fiber handles. I definitely think that this is a classier look. This is definitely something that is more of an office knife, but I think I've handled this knife so long, I actually kind of prefer the feel of this Grivery, or however you pronounce it, this FRN. That would be the only update that I would ask for, would be some texture on these scales. But as I said, this is going to be an office knife, so it's not going to see a whole lot of hard use or sweaty hands or anything like that. Overall, very happy with the knife. I've got my second Benchmade Bugout complete, so everything is good to go. Well, yet another day has passed, and I've carried this for about 24 hours now. Flicked it some last night after I got it all put together. It's hard to see here. The centering looks like it's more off than it is. I believe the grind on the swedge here, this swedge on either side is off, and that's throwing, it looks like it's throwing the centering off, but you can see that tip is pretty close to the center. In the past 24 hours, you can see it smoothed out significantly. I didn't add any oil. This is just with what oil was already on the knife itself, and actually a good bit of that got wiped off when I was trying to install the scales. But overall, very slim, sleek in the pocket, very easy to carry in the office. Just a great slicer, good bit of blade, a little over 3-inch blade in a small package. I really couldn't ask for more for a light to medium EDC knife. And that goes for this one with these carbon fiber scales and my other one that is still factory. Another update, you'll notice in the video I mentioned this screw right here that I had to kind of cut a slot in to get it out of my old scale. I called Benchmade today. Benchmade took all my information and they told me they would send she said screws, so I don't know if they're going to send me multiples or not, but didn't charge me a dime. I even told her I stripped the screw out. She just took my information and said she was going to send some screws out to me. So awesome customer service. Couldn't be more happy. I really can't think of too much more to say. Just enjoy the knife. I appreciate you guys watching. And remember, a lazy man carries a dull knife.